underpaid. Listen.
I be peeping how they move, yeah. They don't know it, but I see just how they do, yeah. I be peeping how they move, yeah. Ain't no lying, they know hiding from the truth, yeah. Talk about it, can't deny it, I see through it, yeah. Think I'm green, thinking mama raised the food, yeah. Talk about it, can't deny it, I see through it, yeah.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Shelly Peter Prophet, with the facts and the logic, and this is Read the Room. You already know on this channel, I am not here to save you. I'm just trying to give you information. Hopefully, you can use it to what? Save yourself. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. So today's video is not going to be too long. It's actually my third video today because I'm on a roll. It must be my lucky day. I'm on the road. But anyways, this video right here, I'm just trying to give y'all some tips and tricks on how to get a raise at work, okay? I used to work in the corporate world. I'm an entrepreneur. I work for myself now. I'm very proud to say that. And actually use a lot of my corporate world experience to become a successful entrepreneur. And I'm just here to give y'all some tips on how to get a raise at work, okay? Just a cool statistic, on average annually, most companies give their employees a raise of on average of 3%, okay? In 2023, on average, people actually got a 4.1% to a 4.4% raise, which is one of the highest raises that we have seen in recent history. A lot of companies, actually, I think 60 to 70% of companies in year 2024 project to give about a 4%, or have budgeted to give their employees about a 4% raise. That don't mean they're going to give it to y'all, but it definitely is in the budget. You know who's going to get it? The ones that go get it. All right. So most companies understand some fundamental rules, which I want to share with y'all today. For one, it's cheaper to keep her. So most companies will rather retain their employees than hire new employees, because it costs more to hire employees. It costs more to train employees. So if you already have someone, it's a lot cheaper to just get people to get with like the new programs and the new systems and stuff like that. And also too, you typically don't have to pay them a lot much more or more at all. Y'all ever notice a lot of y'all will be working jobs, and when you started, you only did steps 1 through 3. Now you're doing steps 1 through 10, but you're still making the same yen. That's not right. You actually should, on average, you should never go more than 18 months without getting a raise. If you do, you are setting yourself up for stagnation. So get into it. If you have been working at a company for more than 18 months and they have not given you a raise, it's because you ain't know how to get it. It's not because they don't do it. Okay. Okay. So I got some notes right here. So I want to get into my notes. I don't want to get off track because I want to make sure. I actually got 10 notes. So I want to, make sure I get through all 10 and not have y'all here too long. So rule number 1, in business, there's always something you can do. I learned this at my own company, and these is facts. In business, there's always something you can do. My last job role, I worked on a oversight team for wealth management. Okay. So the team that I worked on was a very, very high level team. And just to put things into perspective, the lowest income on the team was around 120K. So these people were the people that was movers and shakers. Okay, very high level team, and we were oversight over wealth management. What that I did was actually completely confidential, and I actually got fingerprinted, so I don't want to talk too much about it. Like, they basically told me every single day, everything we do is confidential. You can't talk about your job. So that kind of was instilled in me. So I don't want to talk about anything that I think that legally I can still face ramifications. So I don't want to say the company's name or anything like that, but I want to just tell y'all, I learned some very valuable things. And right before I became an entrepreneur, I actually learned about everything that I needed for an entrepreneur. So just real quick, let me just segue. No, actually, I'm gonna make another video about what you need as an entrepreneur. What are the things that you need financially, the financial products that you need? That will be another video. Let's just talk about how to get you a raise. So first thing first, just know that information that I just told you. And rule number 1 was, in business, there's always something you can do. do. Okay, so don't ever let them tell you there's nothing we could do. I always say there's nothing that you can do. So point me in the direction of the person that actually can do something. Okay, stop letting people play with y'all. Okay, especially when it comes to business. All right, stop letting people play with y'all. Number 2, have a proper resume and keep it up to date. You need to keep your resume up to date on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on Career Builder, on Monster.com. You need to also create a Glassdoor account. If you don't have, which is point number 3, get a Glassdoor account. So point number 2, keep your resume up to date. Point number and update it as you're at your job. Add the new skills that you are doing. Like while you're doing those new skills, you need to be updating your resume every single month. You know, every single month. That's like homework. You need to do that. That's your pay. That is the first thing people look like. People will consistently, you might be in a great role and might get a just randomly call, because that happened to me. I wasn't even job searching before I got my last role. I wasn't even looking for a job, and because my resume was updated on online, I got reached out to with the great opportunity. Okay, and that was I think that was the divine intervention, because I needed that opportunity. It was I feel like the prerequisite to get me to where I'm at right now. So corporate work can help you in your entrepreneurial life. I would recommend, actually, before trying to just straight up become an entrepreneur, it is really cool to get in a corporate role. And if you can get like on the back office team, because I was working on a back office team. I actually worked on 2 different back office teams. One was in IT, and one was dealing with the money. so one was wealth management and one was IT operations. So I have worked on 2 operational teams at one of the biggest companies in the world. So if y'all don't know what Glassdoor is because a lot of people don't know what this is, but Glassdoor is a website that people who have jobs already, they post their jobs that they post. So in order to get a Glassdoor account, let's just start there. In order to get a Glassdoor account, you need to go to glassdoor.com, create an account, and you need to have a current job. And if you don't, just post your last job, okay? Say that you currently have a job, and if you don't, say that it's your last job. Create an account, say what the role is that you did, how much you made, what the interview process was like, what the requirements to get the job were, if you actually have those requirements. So Glassdoor is for people that's spilling all the tea, basically. And these are not just rinky-dink jobs. These are good jobs. I mean, these are like IT manager, systems developer, executive director, director, manager this, supervisor that. Just all kinds of roles are listed here. And like the company that they work at, I mean, anywhere from companies like Google, companies like Rackspace, companies like banks, companies Wells Fargo, Chase, USAA, just really established Fortune 500 companies and others are all on this. People that work different jobs and different roles are on this list, telling you what they do, what they make, and how they got the job, how the interview process with. Oh, they're going to ask you this. They're going to say that you need that, but you really don't need this. And if you don't have this, say this. They're going to give you all the game, and all you got to do is create you a profile and give people the game for how you got your position. So that's a cheat code right there. That is a cheat code. You can look, if you want to work at a specific company, you can literally just look at that specific company. Okay. Career Builder is another site that I personally like to use, because with Career Builder, when you apply for jobs, first of all, just have an updated resume and tweak your search criteria for what the type of job that you're looking for, and then you could just quick apply to each job. So you could just press apply, and so you don't have to actually fill out a job application. Your resume is your job application. And I honestly got majority of my jobs from Career Builder personally, and it tells you how many people have applied for this job, what type of experience they have, and what type of pay that they're looking for. So it gives you it kind of shows you your competition, like who you're going up against, and if you really stand a chance. So you can see that. So that's first thing first. So you always staying ready, so you ain't got to get ready. Basically, if you follow rules number 2 through 4, which is have a resume, get a Glassdoor account, and when you start a position, number 4, when you start a position, write down your current primary responsibilities and additional tasks you assist with or offer expertise on. So you need to have this in a document. So once you start your job, within your first 2 weeks, you need to have create a Word document where you type up what your role is and what your current responsibilities are. Within the first 2 weeks of your working your job, you should know what your primary responsibilities are. And then additionally, after that, when you're in your first 90 days, also write down the additional the additional tasks that you offer expertise on, right? So for instance, you may be working in quality. You may be someone who does, I'm just making this up, okay? You may be someone who just does, say you work at a call center and you work in quality, right? But you also offer information about workforce operations, right? You give workforce operations, which is a different role, right? This is the people who are making sure that they're properly staffed. If people need to go home, that basically the labor and the money is on the same track. Okay, so say for instance, if you come up with any type of ideas to help their job flow and you do it on the regularly, you need to write those down. It also consults with workforce operations, offers consulting advice to workforce operations, and also be able to speak to how your improvements actually, or your ideas have actually improved the company. Okay, so you need to add the new skills that you are doing, and every month add to the list new skills that you have gained. Okay, if you are already doing this, then at the end of the year, especially if you're the type of person that has performance reviews, 9 times out of 10 you're already going to know what your performance review is based off of. So this will help you, and this will be additional ways that you can speak to yourself, because these are things that your supervisor or your manager or whoever the person is that's doing your performance review, if you get performance reviews, may not even be looking over. So or they may overlook. So these are things that you can also bring to the table, when it comes to the end of the year review, when they're talking about paying you more money, because you should be making more money than you was making the year before. If you are not, that's your fault, because you're hustling backwards. All right, so get into it. So every month, add to the list new skills that you have gained, the added responsibilities you have received, the tasks and projects you have been a part of. Be able to speak to your contributions and how they have added value to the company. Okay, so basically everything I just said in a nutshell. That was number 5. Number 6, when asking for a raise, base it off the data that you have provided. Make sure you emphasize that though your duties and responsibilities have increased drastically, you are only asking for a modest increase in pay. Okay. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it, baby. This is just a game. It's about how you put your words together. Okay? This is all this is, right? The only difference between my channel and other people's channels, we all pretty much probably saying similar things. We just putting our words together a little bit differently. So it's all about how you put your words together. And I'm going to repeat point number 6, okay? When asking for a raise, base it off the data that you have provided from point number 5, okay? Make sure you emphasize that though your duties and responsibilities have increased drastically, though you do so much more than what you accepted this position for, I'm only asking for a modest increase, okay? And I would say no less than 5%. If you're going to ask, right? Because on average, they're going to offer you about 3%. But I would say if you're going to ask and you're finna go to the table with your data and stuff like that, make sure you're not asking for less than 5% of a raise. But I say go for 10. Honestly, I say go for at least 10%. And some people say 10% is a jump, 10% is too much. But 9 times out of 10, you're doing more than 10% of what you started doing. For instance, if you only have 5 duties at the start of the job, but by the end of the job, you have 15 duties, because that happens all the time. You have 3 times more duties than you originally had. And you're not asking for 3 times more money. You're only asking for 10%. Okay, because we have to be realistic. Company typically is not going to give you 3 times what you're doing, even if they got you doing the work of 3 people, And that's why I don't work for companies no more, because I just, logically, when I compute them numbers and I think about how much value I'm bringing versus what I'm getting, especially knowing that I work for a for-profit company. So any of y'all who work for a for-profit company, whatever they're paying, for-profit companies are at minimum double their money. Okay, at minimum, at the very minimum. So anything that they're paying, they're making worth double or more. So if they pay you $100,000, they make at minimum $200,000 for the work that you contribute at minimum. Okay, because they're for profit, so they have to gain, right? They have to gain. So if they pay you $200,000, they're probably making $1 million off you. Okay, at at minimum. Okay, at minimum, because a lot of companies believe in 5 times and 10 times and 100 times tripling their investment. Okay, so you're not asking for too much. This is in business. Y'all need to start thinking with a business mind. When you're going to go get a job, you are going to handle business. All right, so think with the business mind. Okay, think like a man when it comes to that regard. All right, so if they which tells me to bring me to number 7. I already wrote all this stuff out. Bring me to number. If they tell you they can't afford a raise, then naturally they also cannot afford your increased skill set, especially if your skills are adding value but not being monetized. Okay, so if they cannot afford to pay you more, then they must not be able to afford your increased skill sets that's not being monetized. Okay, so you can't afford to take more onto your plate, okay? And you need to stop letting these employers run over y'all in fear of losing your job. Because honestly, these companies are actually, in the current state, they're actually pretty desperate for employees. That's why they are including raises in their budget. 60% of companies are focused on creating a more inclusive and diverse, and they're focused on creating like a better work environment for their employees, because a lot of companies are suffering with retention. Okay, so they don't want y'all to know this, but they're struggling, and they're struggling because people are finding out more and more ways to make money on their own, like me, because I'm not gonna deal with you steady winning off of me, making double at minimum of what you paying me, and telling me that you can't give me a little bit more, but you keep on asking more of me. Okay, they keep asking more of you. If they have no problem asking you to do more, you should have no problem asking them for more. Okay, I say this all the time. I have no problem treating people exactly the way they treat me. Companies pray for docile people that will go along to get along. That's their favorite. They don't like people that be like, I noticed that since I've been here, I used to only have to do da-da-da-da, but now I have to da-da-da-da-da, and I ain't got paid for none of that. So you're there for work. You're there for money. You at work, even if you love your job, if they wasn't paying you, you wouldn't show up. And we still vacation from jobs that we love. Okay, so we don't love it more than we love to take a vacation. So don't ever get it twisted. You are there because they are serving a purpose, vice versa. Okay, it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Make sure it stays that way. All right, bam. Companies understand it's cheaper to keep her, and searching for your replacement may cost more than your raises. Okay, searching for your replacement will cost more than actually just giving you a raise. And I will also find a flowery, articulate way to basically express that point as well. Okay, bam. And point number 10, last but definitely not least, know your worth and always be able to back it up, which is basically by the steps that I just gave y'all. So if you don't know, now you know that every single year, you on average, most companies give their employees a 3% raise on average. And for the year of 2023, they did a 4.1% raise on average, most companies. And for 2024, they're projecting to be in about the same lane. So they are actually putting in their budget for raises. Make sure you get one. If you have went over 18 months without a raise, that is a sad situation, and you need to go ahead and get one. All right. So, and also too, make sure you type this up in a formal document as well. Make sure you type this up in a formal document, and I would actually go and use like Chat GPT or something like that to help you word it correctly, or run, like after you type up the formal document, run it through Grammarly or something like that, so that you could make sure that you sound eloquent, you sound like you know what you're talking about, you sound like you mean business. All right, we talking business, we talking numbers, so you need to be talking with talk with that confidence. Say it with your chest. Okay, all right. Other than that, it's your girl Shelly Peter Pop with the facts and the logic, and this is Read the Room. Stay tuned for my next video. Love y'all.
I see the demons coming out, God won't let them break me. I know the bond is the word and I ain't been forsaken. Had to take the track to church, not today, Satan. Had to take the track to church, not today, Satan. I be peeping how they move, yeah. They don't know it, but I see just how they do, yeah. I be peeping how they move, yeah. Ain't no lying, ain't no hiding from the truth, yeah. Talk about it, can't deny it, I see through it, yeah. Think I'm green, thinking mama raised a fool, yeah. Talk about it, can't deny it, I see through it, yeah. Think I'm green, thinking mama raised a fool, yeah.